Hey there, I thought I'd just do a sort of a little bit of a making of video on the last song that I recorded uh, just just for the fun of it because it kind of got out of hand after a while, and I thought you might enjoy it. And you know, I'm not going to flatter myself and think that everybody's gonna really watch this. So if you enjoy this sort of thing, that's great. If not, I totally get it. Anyway, I started thinking about how to record this song after my wife Linda had suggested it to me. Thank you, sweetie. And uh, the song is "Here Comes the Sun." Now, I'm sitting here holding my old Martin guitar, my old Martin D35, and I just knew that this was the sound that I wanted for that. Now, for those of you that aren't necessarily guitar players or maybe new guitar players, this little gadget is called a capo, and basically what it does is it pitches the guitar's sound up by shortening the strings. So whereas if you were playing a song in the key of D, that's what that sounds like. If you use a capo and shorten the strings and play that same hand formation, you get all of a sudden it starts to sound very familiar. Now, I experimented around a little bit with that. I tried using the capo on the 7th fret. I found that that was a little bit too high for me to sing, you know, in my advanced stage. So basically, I took it down to fret 5, which if you play the song in D, turns it into sounding like the key of G. So that's what I did. I first recorded that, but in the back of my mind, I thought, you know, I really want to be able to have something to kind of play to. So I grabbed a background drum track, and we'll switch over to the computer here pretty quick. I grabbed that and I played to that, and I thought, okay, you know, I may or may not use the drums. So the next instrument that I used that I knew I was going to want to have on the recording is this little guy. It's called a Vailette Griffon. It's just the cutest little thing. It sounds wonderful and it's very unusual looking. It's actually a 12-string guitar, 3/4 scale. And so it behaves like a 12-string acoustic guitar capoed at the 10th fret. So you get this wonderful, high-pitched shimmering sound. The only issue is that now, before I had the Martin capoed at 5, which made me play in D so that the song would be in G. Now this is as if it were capoed at 10, so I needed to play it in A so that it sounds in G. Clear as mud? Yeah, I think probably not. Anyway, let's switch over to the computer and I'll kind of catch you up there. Okay, we're over in the computer now. The program that I use to record is called Garageband, which is a pretty straightforward little program. Works pretty well. There's no latency that I can tell. So I just enjoy working with it. Okay, so what you are looking at here is all of these tracks, and this is the drum backing track that I had loaded just so that I would have something to play with so that my speed would be consistent. And there's some tricky time changes in there, and I wanted to make sure that I got those right. So I swear to you that what I had originally intended was for it to sound, you know, there's the Martin capoed on 5, and then I was going to bring in the Griffin. And I thought, Yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that. And then I would just basically sing one vocal track over that. Well, those of you that know me know that sometimes I tend to complicate things accidentally or on purpose. Anyway, I just thought, oh, I will listen to what those guitars sound like with the drums before I start to record the vocals. So we'll run forward a little bit here so you can just record the drums. Oh, I kind of like that. So, well, you can't have drums without bass. So I came back in and started recording the bass. Here, let's take those off so you can hear the bass all by itself. So, you know, I'm just playing the bass. I'm not a great bass player by any means, but I am the best bass player that I have available to me at a moment's notice. So let's put the drums and the bass and the two guitars in. Starting to sound pretty good there. But, you know, there is this really nice electric guitar part here on the original song. So I will solo that real quick here and you'll hear it. The guitar is running through an organ amplifier called a Leslie, which is a spinning cabinet, and it does wonderful things to guitar. So here's the electric guitar that I recorded through a Leslie simulator. You'll recognize it. starting to sound pretty cool. Now there is also another separate electric guitar part that's run through a Leslie, but it's run through a quicker Leslie, and you'll hear it here. And it's just a short little thing. It's right in the chorus there. So now let's give a listen to what everything sounds like here. We're going to go back and right from where the in the middle of the first verse. So there we go. You know, now we're starting to sound a little more complete. And of course, there's a beautiful, beautiful string ensemble part in this song. And I am one of the world's worst keyboard players, but I do have a lot of patience. And so I record in my string parts on a keyboard, on a MIDI keyboard. And the nice thing about MIDI is that it's not the actual, it doesn't record the actual sound, it records a key press event, for lack of a better term. So let me play you what the strings sound like. And the thing is, I could change that to anything because it isn't recording the sound, it's recording a keystroke event, so to speak. So I could have that played back as trombones, as trumpets, as a player piano, whatever. MIDI is a terrific, it stands for musical instrument digital interface. And it's been around for 35 or 40 years, and it's the only interface standard that I know of that has stayed for that long. Okay, so anyway, sorry, I kind of got off track there, didn't I? So there is, in the middle of this song here, there's this funny little synthesizer part. So I'm sure you recognize that. Let's see. There's also a little flute part in the beginning. Now, you know, by this time, once I started recording all of this, I thought, oh, heck, I'm just going to redo the original orchestration and arrangement and just, you know, just call it good. So there's a beginning solo on the flute, on a synthesized flute that has a little pitch bend at the end. You'll recognize this. Oh my gosh, I do have fun with this stuff. So towards the end of the song, in the third verse, then you get this nice little and it's almost imperceptible, but when you add it in, it really, really makes a nice difference. Okay, so at that point, then we are pretty much ready to record the lead vocal. So here's the lead vocal. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's all right. So that's the lead vocal. Then I recorded 2 more background vocals. Let's take you to a point where you can hear those. We'll go to that middle 8. Sun, 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 here it comes. So that's that very recognizable middle 8 portion. So let me take you back to what I had originally thought the song would sound like, just with a couple of acoustic guitars and 1 lead vocal. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, I say, it's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. And, you know, I mean, I'm not George Harrison by any stretch of the imagination, but a great song is a great song. You know, even with somebody that very middling talent like myself plays it, it still is a great song. Okay, so basically at that point, we've got everything going on. Little darling, it feels like since it's been here. Here comes that. Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. You get to the chorus, and then here's the other. It's all right. So everything is all in there now. I lost track of how many tracks there are. You can count them up if you like. I very rarely do. I just go ahead and record until I'm done. Okay, so that is the soundtrack. Soundtrack is all done. Now we're going to go have some fun and record the green screen. Okay, so the song is all recorded, and I moved the audio over to my iPad so that I can play it back on the iPad just while listening. And essentially I'm just miming, because you go, you lose a lot of control over the audio, because I'm outside. I like shooting outside because, you know, the sun is a lot better light. Sun, 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 here we come. So anyway, I sat down to record this on my patio with the green screen setup yesterday afternoon, which was July 4, and I'm sitting there and I get to the middle 8, and all of a sudden the fireworks start. So that's why I end up sort of laughing in this song. Hey guys. So anyway, that's why I'm kind of cracking up in the middle of that, because I'm just thinking in my mind, oh, I am so glad that I'm not really recording this audio, or I'm not going to use this audio. So anyway, that's the green screen process. We'll take you now into the video editing process. Okay, now we are over in a program called Adobe Premiere, which is a video editing program, and it can get very, very complicated. I love it. I've used it for a long time, and so that's basically just what I'm showing you here. I won't go into great depth because we would spend another 6 weeks here. So anyway, what I did then was to load in my soundtrack that I had recorded in Garageband. We'll play it back just a little bit here. So we've got our audio track, and so now we need something to look at. And so I find some terrific stock footage at a place called pexels.com, Pexels.com. So I find some appropriate ones, and I drop those onto the timeline. So now you're going to start seeing something show up here rather than just black. Time lapse of the sun coming up. Here comes the sun. Okay, after that then we drop in the green screen, and I'm going to go ahead and toggle that on, and the end result brings me up right in there. And I could go into a whole tutorial on green screen, but you understand the concept. You know, basically it just replaces stuff in the background. It cuts out what you don't want, etc. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. So that is pretty much it. If you stayed with me all the way through this, thanks for watching. If you left earlier, again, I totally get it, because this stuff can get kind of nerdy and twiddly. So anyway, there it is, the making of. Thanks for watching.